Hey, Jim Remley here with eRealEstateCoach. We're going to be talking today about how to host a client appreciation event. So if you haven't done one of these in the past, this is a great opportunity to build a relationship with your database in a way that's unique and something that they're going to remember for a long time. It's going to take you top of mind and keep you there for a long, long period of time, which will help you to develop a business that will send you more referrals. So this thing to remember about client appreciation events and working your database in general is, all things being equal, people prefer to do business and refer to business to someone they already know, like, and trust. So if you're competing, and often we are, with another realtor or a couple other realtors, people always prefer to do business with someone they trust. In fact, there was one study done by RealTrends and CAR, the California Association of Realtors, which showed that 69% buyers and sellers in a recent transaction, this is the last 1,000 transactions, prefer to do business with someone that was referred, a trusted referral. So again, referral business, probably when you look back at your last 10 transactions, 8 out of 10 came from a referral. But the question is, can you leverage that even higher? Just did a great interview with Sky Flora, did $10 million in business in the last 12 months. Based on a relatively small database of 125 people, but that just shows you the power of what can happen when you're really working a sphere of influence effectively. So the other point of this is, in all things being unequal, people still prefer to do business with someone they already know, like, and trust. This is exactly why, if ever in your career you've lost business to someone that works at another real estate company, but actually has worse service, they have worse tech, they've got worse marketing, it's because people still, regardless of the services and the cost and the benefit versus rewards and all those things that people should look at, people still want to do business with people they know. So if they had a friend over there and you came in and did a killer presentation and still lost, this is exactly why, because people prefer to do business with people that they know. So here's the numbers. 89% of our clients would refer and do business with us again. So those are the people that you've already closed. You closed the transaction, come back, you circle back, and you ask them this question: would you like to do business with this person again? The Realtor organization does this every year with a massive study. 89% say yes, yet only 11% actually do so. And here's one more statistic behind that, is that when you go back 6 months later after a transaction and you ask, can you remember that person's name that sold you the house or represented you in the transaction, half of all those clients can't even remember our first name. Why? Is it their fault or ours? The reason is we're probably not making contact in a meaningful way. We may have put them on some drip system, if that, but we're not really making contact in a way that they remember, that resonates, that really is powerful for them. That 78% delta between the 89% and the 11% is really the difference between what Jim Collins, in that great book, Good to Great, is that exact issue, is that if you want to move from just being a good agent to being a great agent, you're going to have to find ways to connect with people in a way that they remember you long term and that's consistent. We know that to really develop your database effectively, you need to be talking to people 9 to 12 times a year, but you have to do it in a mix of styles. If it's always on the phone, if it's always by email, if it's always by postcard, it's not as effective. You need to have a contact matrix. The reality is, studies are showing that most of our clients, our current people that are in our sphere of influence, are also in 9 other realtors' sphere of influence. That means they know 9 other realtors. And so it's not a given that they're going to do business with you. There's a great quote from Kel Nordstrom here. He says, the surplus society says this: it has a surplus of similar companies, employing similar people with similar educational backgrounds, working in similar jobs, coming up with similar ideas, producing similar things with similar prices and similar quality. So there's a lot of choices for our clients. In their minds, they may say, well, I've got 9 people to choose from, not just you. So working your sphere of influence by focusing on what we call one-to-one marketing is really going to be the difference between just being another one of those realtors and the realtor they know, like, and trust, right? One-to-one marketing is just not focusing on market share, it's focusing on a share of each customer. It's creating a loyal A-level client, and we all know what an A-level client is. That's someone that refers to you and sends you business over the course of a year. So Why is this so powerful? When we think about the lifetime value of our clients, we often kind of discount our clients and just think of them as a one-off transaction. Well, I had a closing, or they referred me one client, but that's the wrong way to look at clients. What Fortune 500 companies do is they look at their clients and the lifetime value of the client. What's this person worth to you over the whole history of your business? Let's just assume some things. Let's assume that every person in your database does 3 transactions over the lifetime. That's probably low, but let's say it's low, 3. And they just refer you one person a year. Over 20 years, that's 20 more sides. You look at those numbers at a very, very low threshold of $5,000 per transaction. It's $115,000 over 23 sides. That's incredible. You think about that in the terms of if you had 10 A clients, just 10, over the course of your career, 20-year career, those 10 clients could be worth $1 million to you. And each individual client's worth about $100,000, $115,000. By the way, these numbers are backed up by a study that Inman News did of lifetime value of clients in the real estate industry. So when you apply this to your business and you start looking at every single person in your database and you say that person, the lifetime value of that person could be $100,000, that's incredible. And you start to say to yourself, what could I do? What should I do to ensure that they stay loyal to me and they know, like, and trust me? Your thought process, your whole way of thinking will change. So what we're talking about today is doing something different. We all have been trained to make the calls. We've all been trained to send the notes. We've all been trained to do the mailings and the emailings and the drips. But very, very few agents do any kind of experiential marketing with their database. Now, we have to realize that as consumers in America today, we on average see at least 5,000 advertising messages a day. So any kind of passive marketing is, and by the way, passive marketing is sending a postcard, doing a social media post, those kinds of things, doing an email, those kinds of things where we can't, it's not us physically talking to someone. We're just kind of hoping that they're going to react to that passive marketing. A billboard would be another example. That's not very effective. It's a very low threshold of effectiveness. The best kind of prospecting, the best kind of lead generation, the best kind of ways to connect with your sphere is active contact. You physically in front of them, you physically talking to them in some way. And the best kind of active contact in the world is a shared experience. A shared experience. It's creating memories, making memories and bonds that endure and carve a space in our client's mind. It's almost impossible to forget a positive memory of an experience. Just try. It's impossible. If you had a great experience, a great dinner, a great conversation, a great experience doing something fun with someone else, we hold on to those things. We allow ourselves to remember that. But do you remember the last email you got? Do you remember the last sales call you got? Those things are easily forgotten. So even when you are really good, the best phone conversations are going to fade over time. But a shared experience, again, is almost impossible to forget. And companies are really getting focused on this. So you can see here a picture of a Build-A-Bear, a little webinar, not a webinar, but a live seminar they did with some kids in the mall. Had them come in Doc McStuffin style and check out if the bear is doing all right. And so that shared experience for these kids and the parents, I'm sure, results in a ton of sales. But let's look at a way to promote their next Game of Thrones season. They did this on a European coastline. They put a dragon's skull head on the beach and just left it there, just for people to get kind of crazed about the next Game of Thrones season. IKEA did a big sleepover at one of their stores to create a shared experience. So these shared experiences can make a massive difference in how people perceive your brand, how people perceive you, but more importantly, keeping them loyal and keeping them engaged with your brand. So 5 steps to plan your event. Number 1, first event you're going to do, start small. Decide the size of your event and your venue. And here's the key. I'm going to encourage you to book it this week. Don't wait. Do it in the next 7 days. Book your event, maybe 4 to 6 weeks from now. Don't make it 3 months from now, 4 to 6 weeks from now. And here's some things to maybe consider in terms of where you're going to book your event. Restaurants are always good, but new and exciting is better. So find the hot new place in town, the new restaurant. Wineries, if you have any in your area. Barrel tastings of special wines is a great thing to consider. Unique businesses. We had one agent do a cupcake tasting. Tours. In some markets, you might have some really cool things that could be toured. In my market, we have something called the Holly Theater, which is a theater that's being restored. Jim Belushi is involved in restoring this amazing old theater into a new concert hall. So that would be an exciting thing to tour. Music, performances, if you have performance venues, buying 10, 15 tickets to a music venue or a festival or a performance can be a great idea. And of course, activities. Activities are a great idea. Skiing, biking, rafting. Maybe doing that in a tour setting too. Maybe using like Groupon.com to find a great deal in your market. But look for things that are unique and fun that you know would be a good experience for your client. Second thing is create your invitation list. You're going to start with your A clients, your VIPs, I'll call them. Your A clients are people that have sent your referral before. Now, if you don't have a big A group yet, you might have to reach down to your Bs. Your Bs are people that have done direct business with you, bought or sold a home. Ideally, it's your A's, but if you need to reach to your Bs, you can. Send a save a date, paperlesspost.com, shutterfly.com. And of course, they have email versions of the save the date, and that's an easy way to do it. A lot of agents are now doing a Facebook event. It's a private event, right? It's not going out to your whole public database, otherwise that break the bank, but a very specific Facebook event, specifically inviting targeted people in your database. And then, of course, you're going to call. You're going to call and make the invitation. By the way, whether they come or don't isn't as important sometimes as just the invitation itself. So the act of inviting someone makes them feel important. It makes them feel wanted, and it connects them to you in a way that's very powerful. We often don't even forget the invitation because in our society today, a lot of people don't go out and do things with other people as much as we used to in the past because of social media and entertainment, streaming, and everything else that comes to us. So inviting people to go out is a big deal. If they're coming and they say, yes, we're coming, send them a physical invite and make it nice. Do some special stationery. And then, of course, have a B list for dropouts. If you had 15 people you invited, 3 dropped out, have some people you can invite at the last second and make sure you're aware of who those follow-ins or those flow-ins may be. And then, of course, as you get closer to the event, call to confirm the attendance. So don't assume they're going to come if they told you 3 weeks ago they're going to come. You got to stay with it. You got to keep calling. You got to make sure they're going to come. And if they don't, that's okay. Again, it's the active invitation that's important. Third thing to do, super important, create a wow factor. What's the wow factor? You need to do something unexpected. Great example is to have a great entertainer at your event. These can be inexpensive. Gigsalad.com is a great place to find great entertainers, comedians and musicians and dancers and all kinds of fun, impressionists, all kinds of fun things. I had a Michael Jackson impersonator at an event I did. It was fantastic. Cost $400, super cheap, but really wowed the audience. We've had our agents do something where they go to a restaurant, but they'll invite the chef to come out and talk about the dish that's being cooked. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it's a wow factor. A gift could be a good idea. You have a gift that could be given at your event. A signature drink, if you're doing something involving a drink or alcohol at any moment. It could be non-alcoholic too, or it could be a signature dessert. Pattern disruption, something they didn't see coming and was unannounced. So it's not something you're talking about. It's something that just happens, and that's super exciting. People love to see that. And of course, lighting and decorations make a big difference as well. You want to make sure that you have a little bit of a low lighting setting when you're doing social events, if you can. If it's something at night at a restaurant, you don't want bright lights, you don't want it fluorescent. You want it to be intimate and feel small. By the way, small venues are better than big venues if you have the choice, because it makes people start to have conversations. Fourth thing, visit the venue and pay attention to details. Of course, you're going to go. You're going to check things out before the event actually happens. Don't wait till the day of. Go a few weeks out, really be specific about what you want. Take a look at the seating, the space, the decorations. Ask who's going to be running the room the night of the event or the day of the event. And ask for special treatment. Believe me, you often get it. When you say, hey, would you mind doing this, that, or the other? When you ask for it, you often get what you're asking for. And to set the expectation, have a clear understanding of how you want the night or the day or the event to go, and talk to the person that's in charge of the event or the owner about that expectation. When you set the expectations, you often get what you want. Fifth is during the event, you want to make sure to have fun and make it viral. And here's what you should be thinking about. Encourage social media posts. Some people have boards, they have funny little things that you can hold up during social media posts. That's a great thing to think about. You want to relax and move around the room. You don't want to spend too much time with any given person because you're the host. And you definitely want to have takeaways. One of my teams, the Alan Gibson group, often gives out great candies that they hand make at their house before their events, and that's kind of a giveaway. It's a takeaway. Remember, it's about the relationships. So you're not overselling at these events. You're not giving up, giving a huge speech. The only thing you might say is, I want to thank you so much for sending me referrals, and this is just my way of thank you. I'd love to work with you in the future. And it really doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be a big speech. Just the act of connecting, the act of the experience is going to be enough, right? Now, you're going to get this. Someone's going to say to you after the end, they're going to see all these social media posts. They're going to see all this fun that was had. They're going to hear people talking about it. And someone's going to ask you, why wasn't I invited? And here's your answer. You're going to say, well, this was a special event for people who sent me a referral last year. I'm going to do another one coming up, and I'd love to have you there. Just to keep me in mind if you hear of anybody thinking about doing some real estate business. And this will inspire people to potentially send you some more business. And the other thing that I would encourage you to do is people, even when you encourage them to do social media, often don't do it because they don't like their photos or whatever. But here's another thing you can do is to have a photographer there. It doesn't have to be a professional photographer necessarily, although that's great. You could also consider a videographer to capture these moments, and then you get all these great photos, which you give back to your clients as a way for them to remember this great experience. But you also post it on social media yourself. And better yet, a video of the event can be even more powerful. So videographer, photographer, adds a little bit of expense, can be super powerful over time. If you like this kind of information, I would invite you to stick with us at eRealEstateCoach.com. If you haven't been there, go check it out. Look at our free starter kits and our mastery courses and our weekly on-demand coaching. It's all there for you. eRealEstateCoach.com. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of information about hosting your first client appreciation event. Have a great day. Good selling. We'll see you next time over at eRealEstateCoach.